From News 19, I'm meteorologist Daniel Bonds. We just got the latest information from the National Hurricane Center on what is now Hurricane Helene. Here's the latest information as far as watches and warnings are concerned around the Palmetto State. A large part of the Midlands now under a tropical storm watch. So that means tropical storm conditions possible within the next 48 hours. That does include Richland County, Newberry, Saluda, Lexington, Aiken, Calhoun, and Orangeburg counties. All this area in yellow now under a tropical storm watch. The area in blue is a tropical storm warning. We also have tropical storm watches in effect for parts of the low country of South Carolina. And that does include parts of Georgetown and Horry counties at this point. Here's the latest from the National Hurricane Center. It does have winds of 80 miles per hour with gusts up to 100, moving towards the north-northwest at 10 miles per hour. Once again, this is now Hurricane Helene and is expected to continue to gain strength as it's going to be moving over some very warm waters in the eastern Gulf of Mexico. So we'll go ahead and show you what the National Hurricane Center is expecting, as it does move a little bit more towards the north and eventually more towards the north and west as it does make a landfall. It looks like either late Thursday or early parts of Friday, possibly as a major hurricane. So expectation, it become a major hurricane before making landfall somewhere along the panhandle of Florida. As it does move into Georgia, it'll start to weaken a little bit, but still a tropical storm possibly into the northern part of Georgia. So for us here across South Carolina and the Midlands, it really doesn't change the forecast and what we're expecting at this point. Here are the spaghetti models. You'll notice they're in pretty good agreement with the National Hurricane Center's forecast as well. This red line is the official forecast from the Hurricane Center. A little bit of a shift for a lot of the models, a little bit towards the east, but once again, pretty good agreement. Here is our in-house forecast model, the latest run, and you'll notice it shows a pretty well-defined storm here moving into the eastern Gulf of Mexico. This would be Thursday afternoon, making landfall somewhere along the Florida coast late Thursday into early parts of Friday, and all that rain is going to continue to move into parts of Georgia and South Carolina, and that's what we're really going to have to watch for early in the day across South Carolina and the Midlands, in particular early in the day on Friday. We do expect some heavy downpours, potential for some flash flooding, and we can't rule out some tornadic activity. We're going to be in the right front quadrant of the storm. The motion will be basically north to maybe northwest or so. So we'll be in this right front quadrant, which is typically the most dangerous quadrant of a hurricane or tropical storm. So we'll watch for the potential for some strong winds, flooding, and we can't rule out the possibility for tornadic activity. We'll start off in the short term. Today we can't rule out a pop-up shower or thunderstorm. Otherwise, look for partly to mainly cloudy skies throughout your day. Wouldn't expect a lot of rainfall today, but things will start to ramp up tomorrow. Tomorrow morning, pretty quiet, a stray shower possible early in the day. As we get late into the morning and into the afternoon hours, here comes those outer rain bands. They start moving in. Some heavy downpours possible. This is 3 o'clock Thursday afternoon, more heavy downpours. Get a little bit of a break in the activity, it looks like, we'll say by the late evening hours on Thursday. But then as we go into Friday morning, pick things up about 4 o'clock, you notice some strong winds, heavy rainfall, and that's when we're really going to have to watch the potential for maybe some tornadoes to form at that point, especially early Friday morning. As we get to the mid to late morning hours of Friday, you see the shower and thunderstorm activity starts to lift out of here, then maybe just a small chance for rain. As we go into the afternoon hours of Friday, probably get a little bit of sunshine before the day is done, although it'll still remain a bit breezy at times. As far as those rainfall totals are concerned, now this can shift a little bit to the east and or west, so don't get too caught up on the totals, but know there is the possibility for a lot of rain in the upstate. The farther you go towards the south and east, the rain chances and amounts do decrease a little bit. So this line could set up almost anywhere. If you get one of these heavier bands, you'll get a little bit more rain. If you don't get one of these heavier bands, you won't get nearly as much rainfall. A little bit of a closer look towards the Midlands here, and you'll notice the same thing. Lighter amounts in the eastern half of the Midlands, but the farther you go towards the west, higher amounts. But again, this line could go east and or west. So you could get a little bit more rain or you could get a little bit less. There is a high chance of some bad flooding here in this area in purple. This is part of the upstate of South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. So they are expecting the possibility for maybe up to a foot of rain in those areas up there. Some devastating flooding potentially in the mountains of North Carolina, parts of the upstate of South Carolina, and in northeastern parts of Georgia. Today, small chance for flooding in the upstate of South Carolina, but then as we go into tomorrow and especially tomorrow night into early parts of Friday, flooding potential does start to expand a little bit. You notice that area in red there, that would be higher chances for some of that flooding. And then the rain starts to kind of move out by the time we get into the, we'll say, mid-morning hours on Friday. Flood watch for parts of the western half of South Carolina does include Aiken County, does not include most of the Midlands. So Weather Prediction Center is going anywhere from about 2 inches in the, we'll say, the eastern half of the Midlands, 3 to 4 to maybe even some higher amounts as you go to the upstate of South Carolina. So there is that potential for flooding and heavy downpours, and we can't forget that chance for the possibility at least for some strong winds. Officially, the tropical storm wind chance, small, but I will say our in-house forecast model is showing some very strong winds moving in very early, it looks like, Friday morning. This is 2 o'clock Friday morning. These are gusts at this point. 40-mile-per-hour gust in Orangeburg. I will say our forecast model has been indicating up to 60-mile-per-hour gusts. That may be overdoing it just a touch, but regardless, it does look like we'll have some very strong winds early in the day on Friday. Gradually, as we get to the afternoon hours, those winds should relax a little bit, and certainly by Friday night. A little bit of a closer look to the Midlands. This is early Friday morning. You'll notice these potential wind gusts, very strong wind gusts, at least potentially early in the day on Friday. Then as we get to the mid-morning hours, those winds still pretty strong. These are gusts once again. Sustained winds will probably be anywhere from 35 to 45 miles per hour at times. So that's something we'll also have to watch. And then as we mentioned, we get to the late evening hours, and certainly as in Friday night, those wind chances or the stronger winds will start to decrease a little bit. Do believe with all the rain and the wind, we'll have the saturated soils, and then you put those together, there will probably be some power outage issues across South Carolina. This is early Friday morning, 6 o'clock. Low to moderate chances for some power outages, and then as the weather does improve, those power outage opportunities will start to drop. Small chance for severe weather today, but we're really focused on tomorrow night and early parts of your Friday. That potential for tornadic activity. As of now, indications are the highest risk is along and south of I-20, but I would not doubt if anywhere in South Carolina had a tornado warning early in the day on Friday. So we're talking about late Thursday through early parts of Friday. The impact's going to be heavy rainfall, severe weather. Can't rule out that possibility for some tornadic activity. Gusty winds also an issue. You do want to stay off the roads very early Friday morning and late Thursday night, and you want to have multiple ways to get those warnings. You never want to drive through or walk through flooded areas. Stay away from down power lines and avoid contact with flood waters. As we mentioned, you want to have multiple ways to get those weather warnings: a cell phone, weather radio, local TV and radio, and obviously the internet's a good way to get those weather warnings. But make sure you're paying close attention to the weather late Thursday, early Friday. Weather does improve over the weekend according to the European and the American model, with only maybe a small chance of rain on Sunday. We hit 89 degrees yesterday. We'll be in the mid to upper 80s today across the Midlands with that small chance for a pop-up shower or a thunderstorm. And this is what we're expecting over the next 7 days. We've been talking about it. Weather impact alert days tomorrow and Friday. The weather does improve over the weekend. Mid 80s on Saturday. We'll go mid 80s on Sunday. As of right now, small chance for a little bit of rain. There is a chance for some rip currents, at least at moderate risk along parts of the coastline. And speaking of the coast, the weekend's looking good for Myrtle Beach. Highs in the low 80s. Charleston, not bad. High temperatures in the mid 80s both Saturday and Sunday. And in the upstate of South Carolina, can't rule out a little bit of rain Saturday and Sunday with those highs in the upper 70s to near 80 degrees. 8 to 14 days out, slightly warmer than normal conditions. That would be October 2nd through October 8th, and we do expect near normal rainfall amounts during that same time frame. But we are going to continue to track Hurricane Helene as it does make its way towards us and bring us potentially some severe weather. It looks like early Friday morning Heavy downpours could lead to some flash flooding. We'll watch for the potential for tornadic activity as well. Keep it here. We'll have more updates on air and online as needed. Have a great Wednesday.